Good morning, you all. Happy Friday to you. It is November 12th, and we're coming at you with November's market report. So again, I hope it's some information that you can glean from this, or if nothing else, maybe just kind of start some questions that we could begin a dialogue on. Love answering questions you guys may have about the market, where it's going, what's happening. But anyway, lots to jump into with this market report. So let's begin right away. Tons to talk about. We've got misleading media headlines. We've got a 2022 market forecast to talk about with you. Mortgage rates, the state of the American homeowner. But let's jump right into it. Showings are starting to level off. We talked about this the last few months. Showings are a really good indicator of what the market is doing. And as we see here, this decrease, it's starting to ease. It's starting to taper off. We're seeing kind of it settle at kind of more of a sustainable level, which is about what we saw last year, these kind of showings. Still way up compared to the last few years. This is the last 5 years around this time. But a consistency is beginning to show in the market. That's kind of more what we expect. Again, a little context here in what market activity is supposed to look like. Bill McBride, he had this to say. He said, sales not seasonally adjusted in September were 2.7% below sales in September of 2020. And excluding last September, distorted by the delayed selling season, sales non-seasonally adjusted were the strongest since 2005. So I say this a lot in my market videos. If you watch them, headlines today, they really do more of a job to terrify than clarify. And if you've seen even recently, you know what I'm talking about, kind of with our current market conditions. There's just clickbait out there. Maybe the article is factual, maybe the information is factual, but it's got that sort of grabby clickbait type headline that is more focused on grabbing your attention than it really is about informing you. And that affects, unfortunately, that affects a lot of people's real estate plans. But I wanted to give you a couple articles that are out there right now. Foreclosures are shooting up. Is it a repeat of the early 2000s housing crisis? That's the headline I think we can expect, unfortunately, see more of. And foreclosures are up 49% from last month, according to Adam data. That's factually correct, but that's nowhere near what we saw in August of 2019, which was a more normal market. We should expect to see foreclosures go up because of these moratoriums that are ending on foreclosures. But yeah, again, very, very misleading headline there. Thanks to Realtor.com of all people. So CNBC came out with this headline. It says that mortgage originations will drop 33% in 2022 as interest rates rise, according to industry forecast. What they don't do though is if you take the time to read into the article really quick, it actually says that it's the refinance originations that will drop 62% in 2022. That's about $160 billion. But the mortgage originations that are for the purpose of buying a home, those are going to rise 9% to a record of $1.73 trillion in 2022. So again, the headline doesn't do really anything to inform you. It doesn't even really lead you down the right path. You have to dig into the article to kind of see what's really going on. And if you're thinking to yourself, I don't know if now is a good time to buy, is next year a good time to buy, what my real estate plans, there's a lot of confusion out there, that's kind of there to trip you up. And that's what we try to do our best at, is just sort of clear these things up. So our 2022 housing market forecast, to me, this really starts with a conversation about interest rates. And let's dive into it with this quote. This is from Doug Duncan. He said, right now we forecast mortgage rates to average 3.3% in 2022, which, though slightly higher than 2020 and 2021 by historical standards, remains extremely low and supportive of mortgage demand and affordability. So what's he saying here? Well, it's the same thing I mentioned a lot of times in these updates, and that's that, yes, rates are going to get higher. And as rates rise, it'll cost more to purchase a home. And that's exactly what we talk about with affordability, mortgage rates, prices, wages, these three levers of affordability. Mortgage rates are, when they projected to rise, it costs more to buy a home. But I think the good context about this quote, what I like so much about it, is that it's the historical standard. If mortgage rates are ticking up a little bit and cost more, they still remain historically low, which will support that affordability. So well, let's take a look at what that mortgage data looks like. This is the data from Freddie Mac, and it's an average of the mortgage rates going all the way back to 2018. And what you can see here is that the mortgage rates were roughly, just under that 5% in 2018, and they've dropped pretty significantly since then, and to that sort of all-time low. And here we are now starting to pick them back up. Similarly, as we saw in the quote before, you can see Freddie Mac is saying that mortgage rates are projected to rise to roughly 3.6%. And as we average all those projections out, they come to about 3.5% by this time next year. So as they get higher, it becomes more expensive to purchase a home. And man, if you're thinking of waiting a year, 2 years, God forbid, getting in that house before those rates rise, that's something that needs to be mission critical for you in sort of the lens of that affordability. Now, what we also know is that rates aren't the only thing that are going to rise next year. Home prices are too. They're going to appreciate as well. So what you're looking at here is the home price forecast for 2022 as we look at this 6 or so major players that we follow in that industry. They're averaging at about 5.1% in average home price appreciation. And that's something that, we've talked about. Home prices, they've been appreciating at these record-breaking levels, 18, 19, 20%. And next year, that's going to will have slowed down, but will still have crept up at a pretty moderate rate. You've heard me talk about that word deceleration, the deceleration of home price growth. It's just a slower, more moderate increase in home prices, but still making it more expensive. And why are they projected to appreciate? Well, we've got the inventory that we've talked about, that being a big challenge. It's a major question. The supply and demand conversation is one we have over and over again about demand being high, but supply being low. And that's going to continually make these prices rise. And it's a thing that it doesn't get solved overnight. We still have challenges because they're somewhat softening. Builders are coming back to the market. People are selling homes with a little bit more frequency. And we anticipate that more sellers are going to feel less pressure coming out of this pandemic and maybe interested in selling that house of theirs. There's a lot of factors that are home prices, kind of succumb to, but they continue to rise. And again, home inventory is one. That's an issue that's not going to be going away anytime soon. So as we're thinking about mortgage rates rising and prices rising, what does that mean for next year? Well, home sales are forecast to increase this year and perform again well in 2022. And so what you're looking at here is the home sale forecast from the 4 major entities that we follow: Fannie, Freddie, NAR, MBA. And 2021 looks like roughly 6.7 to 6.9 million home sales, and a very strong finish out to this year. And really, couldn't say it better myself, but, this quote from the Mortgage Bankers Association is that 2022 should be another strong year for the housing market. And, really, I think as we get into this is something I want to talk about. As interest rates rise and home prices rise, it's going to cost more, but really we need to kind of look at sort of the non-financial benefits of home ownership. And that's what I want to take these last few minutes just to really talk with you really quickly about, because I think we're seeing it as a trend across the country. And I just want to sort of highlight a little bit of that with you. Don Layton from Harvard said, home ownership is regarded as causing an improvement in the quality of life of a typical family. It is the most common method for such a family to build wealth that can be used for retirement, other needs, including helping the next generation. Such wealth creation, therefore, provides a major social as well as economic benefits. And so, yeah, we've been talking about last year about the economic benefits with rising prices, equity rising, all that kind of stuff. But let's just look at these non-financial benefits for a second and what that looks like across the country. Unison did this report called the State of the American Homeowner. And in it, it said that 64% of American homeowners say living through a pandemic has made their home more important than ever to them. No doubt, all of us could probably say that on some level that's been true. It's been true for me, certainly. I've had to work from home. I've had to shop from home more. I've had to work out from home. I had to, keep myself entertained at home, and so on. All of us have, and that's more important. 83% of homeowners say that their home has kept them safe during the pandemic. 91% of them have said that they feel secure, stable, or more successful in owning a home. But anyway, further in that report was this really great quote I liked a lot. It said, "Last year, staying home became a necessity, and that caused many homeowners to have renewed gratitude for the roof over their head." That people feel more emotionally attached to their house. And that's what we're seeing. 58% before the pandemic could say that. Now 70% of those interviewed say that. And that's really it. So Mark Fleming, this is kind of the bottom line. He said, buying a home is not just a financial decision, it's also a lifestyle decision. I'll wrap up with that. I think that's a great one to stop with. If you want to talk about this more, give me a shout. I really love having these conversations with people on what to do and how to realize that next step in your real estate plan. So I hope you guys enjoyed this market video. I did. Look forward to talking with each of you soon. Bye-bye.